Don't you try and escape, Captain. I'm watching you like a hawk.
We have a bargain, Bunson. So long as you stick to your end of it, I'll stick to mine.
Your word ain't ever meant much in the past, Captain. Just don't go giving me any reason why I should renege on our deal and take you back to your ma.
What a choice I have! Walk around the barn with you, or sit and listen to my mother talk with that idiot friend of yours.
Who would have thought that your mom knew how to talk raccoon? I do hope she can help Muffin overcome his panic attacks. That is some mother you have, Captain. She ain't nothing like you. She's a truly good soul.
Bears, raccoons, my mother, how the mighty have fallen. Let's get this over with, Bunson. I've things to do. Just don't you forget. You said that, should I stop this agent of destruction of mine from destroying Waterford, you'd send my mother home. Let's speed this up. I want out of here.
Don't you forget the second part of our bargain, Captain. After you's disarmed this agent o' yours, you's taken me to see Ginny. Then I sets you free. But this is your show, Captain. I don't know where that agent of yours is. I don't even know who it is. As you say, let's get the show on the road.
Klaatu, Barada, Nikto.
Well, that was a whole lot of... I don't even know. What's you talking about, Captain?
The calling of my agent of destruction. Upon hearing my voice speaking those words, the agent will come. We have a few minutes, maybe more, depending on where in the world he currently is.
Yous mean that whomever this agent is, wherever he is in the entire world, he can hear you all the way from Waterford?
After all you've seen, Bunson, this little trick shouldn't impress you all that much.
Nah, it's not that, Captain. It's just that your voice is so down high, I'd figured maybe they'd have heard you all the way on Mars.
Quip all you like, Bunson, but know this. Nobody ever bests Captain M.T. Not for long, anyway. The tables will turn, and it will be I laying jokes as a hen lays her eggs.
Only yours come out as bad as they born. At least I can be funny from time to time.
What a foolish little bear. He's seen me escape my captors in the past, and yet he thinks he alone can hold me. I know he has no intention of keeping his bargain, which is why my backup plan will succeed. My agent of destruction will be disarmed, all right. Yet that will be of little importance once Bunson sees who my agent truly is. When he sits here, stunned into shock and silence, I can make my escape off this little blue ball of dirt. His only advantage is my mother's presence, yet even to that there is a loophole. One Bunson could never have anticipated. Yes, everything is going exactly as I planned it. This will be my day, just as every day will be shortly.
Yo, Captain! Hey, Baldy, are you listening to me or what?
Such crudeness! No wonder you're still in grade school, Bunson. You should know to respect your elders.
Just because you're old, Captain, that don't make you worthy of my respect. How much longer's we got to wait for this, whatever it is, to arrive?
Patience, my little bear. You, one who always talks of the importance of virtue, should know of patience. Exercise some while we wait.
Nobody ever made a voodoo doll of you is truly a miracle, Captain. Why's you got to act so high and mighty, then turn around and act like a total snob? There's just no good to you, is there? Yous is a weird individual, Captain. I's don't get yous at all. I doubt anyone does. Anyone except your mama, and that's only 'cause she can see through your lies any time she wants to. You just need to snap out of yourself, Captain. Stop being such a downer and drag, and learn to live a little. Stop worrying about ruling the universe. Let your hair down, or, well, just learn to enjoy life for a change.
Bunson, there are different ways of enjoying life. Who's to say my way is any less significant than yours?
Because I can learn to accept failure and still relax at night, whereas you storm off in a huff and have a temper tantrum. Why's you think you's got no hair? 'Cause yous don't know how to relax at all. If you'd just learn to take life as it comes and not try to force the direction it's coming from, maybe you'd be a little more fun to be around. That's all I'm trying to say. Here, whiles we's waitin', I's got something to show you. I's so glad Mervyn gave me this new call button. All I do is press it, and there she is. How he got it hooked up to the transporter, I'll never know. Anyway, Captain, watch this. Maybe after seeing yourself on screen, you won't act like such a spoiled brat anymore.
Report cards. That can be a time of emotional upset, can't it? But here's a boy who doesn't seem concerned. In fact, he doesn't look as though he could be upset by anything. His report card is getting better. He's got a B in history. But look, he is upset. Why? Why should anybody be upset about getting a better grade than he did before?
Hey, why do you get off of that track? I'm a brain. Yo, hey.
Yes, even though he's shown some improvement, Howard is really upset about that report card. He isn't even going to take it home.
Quite a few of you still have your report cards out. Will you please return them tomorrow? The following, please return your report cards as soon as possible. Ann McCarthy, Howard Patterson, James Thomas. Howard Patterson, your report card is still missing. Howard Patterson, did you bring your report card? Howard Patterson, please report to the office. Mr. Edmonds would like to see you.
Come in.
Oh, come on in, Howard.
Howard, you've had your report card out for over 2 weeks. Will you please make it a point to have it signed and bring it in?
I can't. I'm not going to take it home. It isn't fair.
Your grades must have disappointed you quite a bit. Are they so bad? Your usual C's, and in history a B. That's an improvement.
I worked for an A, and I should have gotten one.
I see. Sit down, Howard. Howard, you can't expect other people to judge your work exactly as you judge it. This B is proof that you've been doing better in history. Why not accept it and work still harder next time?
Oh, what's the use of trying? All you get is grades like that.
Howard, there's a very familiar pattern of behavior there. Sometimes we expect great things, but things can't always work out the way we expect. And when we're severely disappointed, we become emotionally upset.
He asked a friendly question. Well, don't. I like this fighting.
Now, what's upset her? She's been that way lately, ever since the operetta tryouts. This was the big chance of the year for her. She wanted the leading role. She was sure she could get it. And in her own mind, she could see herself as the star of the show. But she was expecting too much. When she was offered a smaller part, she was disappointed. Expecting too much, disappointment, emotional upset, lasting for days afterward. Now look some more. There's Bill, daydreaming. That's another sign of emotional upset. You remember how it was about the class party? You told Bill if he wanted to date Alice, he'd have to ask a month ahead of time. But he just waited around until it was pretty late. He was so sure she'd wait for him. And being a popular girl, she already had a date. Expecting too much, disappointment, emotional upset. Well, Howard, do you see the pattern? It fits you, doesn't it?
Oh, Mr. Edmonds, may I see you for a minute?
Why, yes, Howard. Come on down to my office.
I've been thinking, Mr. Edmonds. I think I understand now. Sometimes you expect things that can't possibly happen, so you're sure to be disappointed.
Mm-hmm. Sit down, Howard.
So the thing to do is to figure out what's possible or reasonable. And then you aim high, and you try for a lot, but you don't count on it.
Good. You do understand, Howard.
Only, even then you're going to be disappointed sometimes. Why, Mr. Edmonds, I'm still so upset about that grade that I haven't been able to study or do much of anything. If I go on like this, I won't even get C's next time.
Well, at least you're beginning to have some insight into your problem.
Well, thanks, but what can I do now? How do you handle disappointments when they come?
Well, let's see. You don't withdraw, stifle your emotions. You don't go off in a daydream. No, you channel your emotional energy into a direct attack on your problem.
Yes. I think I see. Thanks, Mr. Edmonds.
Oh, Howard, your report card, do you have it?
No, sir. Not yet. Tomorrow, for sure.
Better be sure, Howard. Come in. What is it, Howard?
My report card is ready, Mr. Edmonds.
That's fine.
I hope to do still better next time.
Well, now, be careful.
Oh, yes, Mr. Edmonds. I'm not expecting miracles, but I am working hard, and I'm hoping. I don't want any more emotional upsets if I can help it.
Whoa there, Virgil. I know he's the bad guy, but you can't go around with that kind of mouth. Naughty. Naughty Virgil. That's a very naughty Virgil. You's never done swore at me before. What in the other has gotten into you?
Bunson, you best get this creature under control. I'll not tolerate this abuse from anyone, especially an overgrown flying rat. Why, you get the away from me, you little... Bunson, this is the last time I tell you this. You... out of here right now.
Wait just a goddamn moment. Wait a moment. You. It was you who delivered Virgil to the pet store, where Jingles bought him. It was you who taught him how to swear like this. What kind of game are you playing, Captain?
A game where the stakes are high, and I hold all the cards, whereas you, Bear, can only play 52-card pickup.
Well, it serves you right, Captain. After the mouth you gave Virgil, you deserve to be pecked down a little. But enough is enough. This ain't getting us nowheres. Virgil, come here, now. Captain, you's got another lesson coming your way right now. If training birds to swear is your idea of proper etiquette, you come here and you listen good.
Good evening, Mrs. Norton.
Good evening, Peggy. It's nice to see you again.
Thank you. Then I stepped aside while Frank introduced the others.
Miss Cameron, this is my mother.
How do you do?
I'm glad to meet you at last, Miss Cameron. Frank has talked about you so much and so favorably.
Mother, Joan Wood.
How do you do, Joan?
How do you do, Mrs. Norton?
Here's Father. Well, Peggy, how are you this fine evening?
I'm just fine, thank you, Dr. Norton.
I told you, Peggy, Bill would be along. Excuse me. Hello, Bill. How are you?
Hiya, Frank. How you doing?
You're late.
Oh, what's the difference?
Come on in and meet everybody.
Hey, Peggy.
Hello, Bill.
Sorry I'm late.
Dad, this is Bill Phillips. How do you do?
How do you do, sir?
Come on, Dad. We'll meet the others. Miss Cameron, this is my father. How do you do, Miss Cameron?
How do you do?
Dad, I want to introduce you to Joan Wood. How do you do?
How do you do?
Excuse me, please. Would you excuse Bill for a moment, please, Peggy?
Certainly.
Thank you. Mother, I'd like to introduce Bill Phillips.
How do you do? Frank tells me you're the captain of his basketball team.
Well, yes, I am, Mrs. Norton.
Well, it's been nice to see all of you. We'll leave you to your meeting now, if you will excuse us.
They then said goodbye to us all, and they left. You see, nobody squirmed at Frank's introductions. They were all so simple and right to the point.
We can all probably learn something from your experience. Just be sure you didn't miss anything.
We can compare both these occasions with some of the points in the article. Would that do it?
It should. Let's start with the one about speaking the woman's name first when introducing a man to her. Remember the mess you made of that one? You got all mixed up to start with. Your friends got the idea all right, but introductions like meet so-and-so or let me make you acquainted with so-and-so are considered awkward anyway. Let's see how Frank introduced his father to his teacher. Addressing the woman first, he said,
Miss Cameron, this is my father. How do you do, Miss Cameron?
How do you do? There is one exception to the rule. Did you notice?
Dad, I want to introduce you to Joan Wood.
Frank addressed his father first out of respect. Even here, he phrased the introduction so that he introduced the man to the girl. Let's have that one again.
Dad, I want to introduce you to Joan Wood.
Suppose Frank had wanted to introduce me to Joan. He could take his choice. It wouldn't matter, since both of us are of the same age and sex. Now, how about persons of the same sex? Here, Frank wanted to show Miss Cameron respect as a teacher and as a visitor in his home, so he addressed her first. He said simply,
Miss Cameron, this is my mother.
when he came to Joan and his mother, he addressed his mother first because she was the older of the two. He merely gave the name with a slight pause in between.
Mother, Joan Wood.
when Frank introduced Bill, he spoke to his father first because he was older. Hey, Peggy.
Hello, Bill.
Sorry I'm late.
Dad, this is Bill Phillips. How do you do?
How do you do, sir?
Well, that takes care of introductions, but you can't leave the situation hanging there. There's the matter of answering them. Unless you have a very good reason for saying something else, stick to the accepted form and just say, how do you do? Not, how do you do? And not, how do you do? Just say it simply, like Miss Cameron did. How do you do? Frank's mother wanted to make her response to Miss Cameron a bit more personal, since she had heard about her before naturally.
Miss Cameron, this is my mother.
How do you do?
I'm glad to meet you at last, Miss Cameron. Frank has talked about you so much.
This was another good way to acknowledge an introduction, wasn't it? Frank's mother mentioned something in common, so as to break the ice, as I remember.
How do you do? Frank tells me you're the captain of his basketball team.
Well, yes, I am, Mrs. Norton. It's a good policy to fix a person's name by making it a part of your response, as Frank's mother and Joan did.
Mother, Joan Woods.
How do you do, Joan?
How do you do, Mrs. Norton?
Men do shake hands, but not as if approaching a time bomb or hand-to-hand combat.
Dad, this is Bill Phillips. How do you do?
How do you do, sir?
Just a comfortable, firm grasp is all that is necessary. Men do not shake hands with women unless the woman holds out her hand first. Remember? I said Bill was kind of sloppy about such things.
But since Bill was a stranger to Anne, she could have held out hers first, right?
Right. If Bill had been a stranger brought up purposely to meet her, she should offer her hand. The same rule holds for two girls.
It looks this time as if Bill did the right thing. He waited for Mrs. Norton to offer her hand.
Mother, I'd like to introduce Bill Phillips.
How do you do?
Yes, the woman always takes the initiative when it comes to shaking hands with a man.
What else?
How about rising? When should a man rise? When should a girl?
Oh, yes. Let me see. I'll have to dream up a situation. Imagine Frank sitting there where I was. Then imagine me bringing Joan to introduce him to her. Frank would rise the moment he realizes I'm bringing someone to be introduced to him. He would rise also if I brought Bill instead of Joan. And either time he'd look as if it were a pleasure, not a hardship. As for girls, well, Joan would have risen as soon as she was introduced to Frank's mother or father, if either of them had been standing.
Well, I guess that takes care of nearly everything.
It's all a matter of practice. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a chance to put these rules into practice. A party at Frank's.
Oh, Peggy,
Yes?
wasn't there something in that article about how you carry out those basic rules?
You mean?
All the rules in the world won't make people glad to meet an automaton. It's the warmth in the greeting, the feeling you put behind it that counts.
Gosh, didn't I say anything about that? Why, that's the most important point of all.
How's Peggy getting along? A good student, Peggy. Learns quickly. Following those few basic rules pays off. Wait and see. It's fun to meet people when you feel at ease. What's more fun is the way people will enjoy meeting you. See? All's well that begins well.
Bunson, what a complete and utter fool you are! I once thought you were smart. I thought you were wise. You created a race of people. I once thought you were an incredible being of nature. I was wrong. You aren't any of these things. You are not even observant. All this time, the answer has been right in front of you. Yet you never even suspected it. Perhaps if you weren't so preachy and full of yourself, showing asinine film after moronic film, you would have realized that Virgil is the agent of destruction. With one word from me, Virgil will transform into a bird of vengeance, 1,000,000 times his current size. He'll flap his wings, and Waterford will be windswept off the map. With only one word from me, who has the upper hand now, Bunson?
Bunson, it's about friggin' time I located you. Give it back. It's not yours, it's mine. It's mine. It's mine, you hear? It's mine, it's mine, it's mine, it's mine, it's mine!
Jingles, what are you doing here? This is my moment of triumph. Get back to Sevilla Town this instant. Go back to where you belong, you little giraffe.
All right, that does it. That does it. How many times have I told you I am not yours, nor am I anyone's? I am not a little giraffe. You're forgetting, M.T. I know your secrets. I know what's really going on here. If you want to play God, do it, but not before I get my array back. Now where is it, Bunson? Where is my array?
You're forgetting. With just the stroke of a finger I can turn you into a chihuahua. Now, get out of here this instant, Jingles. This is my time. It's my time to shine. You will not ruin this moment for me. Get out of here, Jingles, or else.
Or else what, Mr. Potato Head Reject? You'll do what? Turn me into a subservient creature like you did with her? Well, M.T., I knew you'd think of something like that. My array, wherever it is, protects me from your power. Even should you get away from your mother and get your powers back, I am protected for life. So, shut your little mouth, my little alien. I'm getting my array back, and I'm getting it back right now.
I am not a little alien, Jingles. You better watch what you say, because a reckoning is coming. On that day, you'll be the first one reckoned with.
Guys, remember me? I'm the little bear. We've got an issue here, you know? Agent of Destruction, the end of Waterford. Can we get back to the script for a few more minutes? Not now, Bunson. This is between M.T. and myself. You stay out of it. I'll be reckoned with, M.T. I'll be reckoned with? I'll be reckoned with? Who's the person who got you away from Popeye? Who's the person who repaired the transporter? Who's that person who's allowed you to keep tabs on Bunson all this time? Why, if it weren't for me, you'd still be picking spinach out of your teeth. I'll be reckoned with. Just like you reckoned with Ginny, right? All you did is turn her into a bird. And when she still wouldn't do what you wanted, you swore up and down, left and right. Swore at her for an entire month. What good did it do you? She still wouldn't help you in the end, and so you sold her for $3.50 to a pet shop dealer. If I hadn't bought her, she probably would be dead now.
Jingles, you idiot! Now you've ruined everything. Bunson wasn't supposed to know about Ginny until after my mother was gone. Now you've ruined years of planning. You've ruined everything. If it's the last thing I ever do, Jingles, I'll see you as a sea goose, living lives, eating microscopic vegetation for the rest of your life. I'll have my vengeance on you, giraffe. Bide your time. Bide it. For you do not have much left.
All's this time, Virgil is Ginny? All's this time you knew it and you didn't tell me. What kind of friend? What kind of monster would turn someone into and sell them, all for hate? Ginny, is it really you?